Hi, it's a little loud in this hotel lobby, so I hope you can hear me. Um, Gosh, with the t-shirt under this black shirt, I look like a priest, and I'm not. I'm anything but. Anyway, I just wanted to follow up. Yesterday, I was taking an early train to a 6 p.m. rehearsal in Princeton, New Jersey. Uh, my normal practice when I take commuter trains is to check the schedule and see what train gets me there at the ideal time, and then take the one that's scheduled before that one. You have to, with trains, although they're spectacular when they work, when they fail spectacularly, is what I have to say. So you plan for problems that you hope aren't going to happen, just like if you're driving somewhere, you plan on traffic. If it takes you an hour to get to a certain place, let's say I were driving and wanted to arrive by 5, I wouldn't leave at 4, I'd leave at 3:30, quarter after 3, to allow for traffic. God forbid something happening to my car, Actually, I don't have a car. And I prefer mass transit because I can sleep, relax. I can study my music if that's what I'm doing. Somebody calls me, check in on my mom, whatever. I find it a lot. Overall, I find it a lot more civil than driving. I hate being. That's a personal thing. I don't like sitting in traffic. But in this case, the train I was going to take at 3 o'clock was canceled. Boom. But I didn't have to panic. I knew there was one at 3:30. They were pretty sure it was going to leave. In my head, I was making plans. I knew where the nearest rental car place was, just in case. And I figured I'd know pretty soon if 3:30 wasn't going to happen. Well, 3:30 did happen. That was going to get in at 20 to 5. All right, it's a little less time than I wanted when I got here. But both the hotel and the venue where we were rehearsing and performing tonight were within walking distance. So maybe I'd take a cab instead. Well, we got to the third station and the train just shut off. They stopped and we sat there and there were no announcements being made. We saw conductors hanging out on the platform. Of course, there's always that one passenger that has to narrate everything and start panicking. And she didn't have a downbeat at 6 o'clock. But the point is, I really wasn't too uptight because I knew that even if the train were an hour late, I'd still be okay. If it got in at 5:30, well, I don't like coming to a 6 o'clock rehearsal at 20 to 6, but that's what would have happened. And as it turned out, I got to the rehearsal at 5:30. And so did a lot of other people, whether they drove or not. Some people were on the train after mine, which was maybe 10 minutes late, thanks to our tardiness. But the point is, I couldn't have counted on that, and no way would I have taken that late of a train. For precisely that reason, that would have been nerve-wracking. And I'm getting old and my nerves cannot take the abuse. It wasn't even great when I was younger. But this way I was able to be relaxed and enjoy the job. Things happen sometimes no matter how much planning you do. The point is, if they do happen, it's going to be very rare, and it will not be held against you. It's those who are habitually late, who habitually have excuses. That's when there's a problem. That's what's going to hurt you in the long run in a freelance career. Biggest part isn't always how great you play, but it's your reliability. It's your ability to fit into a section and all the other things too. But even just the fact that knowing you're going to show up, because a contractor may understand, but he or she, they have a lot on their shoulders. Conductors or management or whoever they report to is going to say, well, where are you guys? Why are you hiring people that can't show up on time? It is a thing. Like we think sometimes the people who supervise us are where everything stops, and it doesn't. They are accountable also. So your job is to make their lives easier. Only because it's a responsibility to yourself, because you want to keep working, right? So this way, by being at least on time, if not early, as I was yesterday, nobody batted an eye. If I hadn't said anything, nobody would even have known that there had been a problem. So, moral of the story: you want to plan to leave earlier. You want to plan to take a train earlier, or you want to try to fly earlier if that applies. If you can, when at all possible. So, just like buying insurance, you hope you never need it, but you want to have it. And by the way, if it's not possible, and you already know this in advance, notify the person who's hiring you so that they can make a mental note. That helps a lot, and they appreciate it. and sometimes may have to make a change. If it ends up hurting, costing you the job, it's not going to cost you in the long run because they'll appreciate your being so upfront. They do. I've been around enough of those folks, management types, long enough and had enough conversations to know that this is how it is. So enjoy your jobs, enjoy your playing if you're working tonight. I hope it goes well. I'm really looking forward to this concert. If you're not working tonight, enjoy your evening, and you'll just retire a day later, as my teacher used to say. But do enjoy, and leaving early and earlier than you really even want to is a big help. And P.S. if you have ADD like me, it's essential that you see that as your deadline because time management is a thing. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go poke my nose around Princeton, and I'm probably going to go to the Princeton Record Exchange because I still have a bad habit to feed it. Okay, take care.